to the Merrimack Valley Chamber's annual recognition of veterans program. I'd like to ask you to stand for the presentation of colors by the Essex County Sheriff's Association.
Forward, arm, elbow, 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 elbow. Monica. Left. Hey.
I ask you to join me with a pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Order. Rally. Peace. Forward. Arm. Elbow. 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 Right. Left. Right. Left. Right. Elbow.
We want to thank you. Please be seated. We want to make sure we thank the Essex County Sheriff Department, who will not be here this every year, for their support. Give the honor guard a round of applause. I'd like to thank the sponsors that make this debate possible: BrightBridge Credit Union and LCW, CPAs, and Maria's Galleria. And we want to recognize the veteran service officers that are here. I know there are 3 here from Methuen, North Andover, and Lawrence, and also Havel is on its way. And we also want to recognize, excuse me, the offices of Representative Vargas and Hamilton are here. Give them a round of applause. And we want to make sure we thank our veterans. And we want to introduce and recognize the committee chairs and co-chairs that make this possible, but actually one of the leaders of the establishment of this committee is and I don't know how to say this properly, but I call the word retired Navy SEAL, Sal DeFranco, who is over there. Al Williams, a Marine, John, is the co-chair of the committee, along with John Howard, also a former Marine, a retired Marine. And Cal is not feeling well, so he will be here today. But again, those 3 individuals put this program together a couple of years ago, along with Francisco Urena, who should be here. And we'll tell you about a program that we actually initiated twice now that has made benefits to the chamber world. The committee, years ago, when we heard about the Afghanistan incident at the airport where Sergeant Johanny Pichardo was killed, her dream was to have a home for her family when she came back. The chamber chairman, Mike Sullivan, took it upon himself to lead the effort of the chamber, along with Sal DeFranco and John Howard and Cal and Francisco, to help rehabilitate the house. Not only did we help, but we totally rehabilitated the house at absolutely no cost to the family and the families that are living there. Last year, a veterans service organization that Ralph knows well was in need of a van to take veterans to medical appointments and other issues, other appointments. They came to us and said, came to the chamber, Merrimack Valley Chamber, and said, we need a van to take our veterans and their families to medical appointments and other places they need to go to. And through the efforts of the chamber and its membership, we were able to get a van donated to the Veteran Service Organization, which they use today. That's just 2 examples of what we do to try to help our veterans on a regular basis behind the scenes. I'd like to introduce the president of the chamber, Michael Bevilacqua, who will chair the program, and he will welcome you all and provide the next step. And I'll be taking the pictures. I'm only going to do it until he has a baby. He's having a baby in 5 weeks. Thank you all for joining us today. This is one of, the Merrimack Valley Chamber hosts over 150 annual programs each and every year. But this is always one of our favorites, a way for us to say thank you to our veterans. So I just want to start by saying if you're a veteran, just stand up. We'd love to honor you. Just say thank you. Thank you to all of our veterans who are in attendance today. I got some bad news and some good news to start the program. The bad news, yesterday we received a letter from our featured speaker, Richard Cipro, who is the Brigadier General for the Assistant Adjutant General Army. He sent us a letter saying that he regrets to inform us that he cannot attend the Veterans Breakfast today due to the government shutdown. They recently received guidance from the Office of Secretary of War that service members cannot participate in any Veterans Day community events in uniform in any type of official capacity for any event. If a budget is passed and the shutdown was lifted, they could attend, but unfortunately it was not passed, so he could not be here today. So that was the bad news, but I got good news as well. We got two amazing speakers today who are going to be saying a few words to start the program before we honor our award recipient today. So I just want to thank them for taking the time on the schedule on very, very, very short notice. So with that being said, I'm going to call up our first speaker of the day. I'd like to introduce John Howard, who is the president of BrightBridge Credit Union, treasurer of the Chamber Board of Directors, and retired Marine and committee co-chairman of this Veterans Program. And welcome, John.
When it comes to, I think, retired or former, I always, when I'm introduced or when somebody asks me, I always say, I'm an ex-Marine. And everybody always says, well, there's no such thing as an ex-Marine. But see, I think the word ex-Marine sounds tough. And you can look at me, I don't look that tough. It really isn't that tough when you see this. So I need all the help I can get. So retired, former, but ex is okay too. It's a tough sound. But thank you all for being here today. And before we get started, I'd really like to thank Joe and Mary Beth and Michael. You guys, you do so much for veterans, as you spoke a little bit about here this morning, but you connect us in so many different ways. When we run into trouble, we can reach out to you guys, and you absolutely help us. You're always there, whether it's homes or jobs or just making a network connection and just trying to help us to get out of our own way sometimes. So you guys do outstanding for veterans. We can't thank you enough. And more than that, though, for everybody that knows, Joe and Mary Beth and Michael, they're constantly, Joe will say, Michael will say it to you constantly. Says it when he's shaking your hand. He says it when he's at the podium. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your support. I hear it constantly from Michael. But I got to tell you, thank you for your support. Like, you guys do so. You are, you are the Merrimack Valley. You are the Merrimack Valley Chamber of Commerce. You're the ones who are constantly out there. You're phenomenal connectors. And if you ever need a connection to anybody in this region, these three people can make that connection for you. And if they don't have a connection, they will work their networks until they find that connection. They'll call you up and they'll create the connection for you so you can move on in the direction that you're trying to move on in. Really outstanding. I've been a part of chambers now going on 40 years, all over the country. I have never once participated in the Chamber of Commerce that's been more active, more supportive, more connecting than any other chamber that I've been through throughout the country. Truly, you guys are the exceptional ones, and we can't thank you enough for doing what you do. You're the greatest supporters we have here in this community, so thank you. Outstanding. For another round of applause. Everybody can hear me okay, right? This microphone sounds like it's not that loud or okay.
Yeah.
So the veterans stood up. So listen, if you don't mind, one more time, just raise your hand if you were a veteran, because I had my back to some folks. Okay, so for everybody who did not raise your hand, would you mind standing up? Would all of our non-veterans mind standing up for a minute? We want to thank you. All of us veterans want to thank you. You guys coming out here on days like this, in mornings, early mornings, giving up your time to be here for us, the support that you give us, the recognition that you give us. You are our greatest heroes. You're constantly there helping us, and we all can't thank you enough. So from the veterans' perspective, can you give our supporters, our family, our friends, our loved ones, thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. We all do these events and we meet each other, and so often we meet somebody that we've never met before. And we all can do this. I can small talk with somebody that I've never met before. for a half hour or so. And then after around that half hour, 29 minutes, 30 minutes, I'm starting to think, I don't know what the hell else to talk about. We've tapped all the topics. So, it happens, but through that conversation, I find out that that person I'm speaking with is a veteran of any military. That's it. I mean, hours, 2 hours I can talk without even a problem. There's so much conversation. And if there's alcohol, all day long. We can talk forever. If there's whiskey and cigars, days. We can talk for days. And we'll repeat stories 7 times and we'll genuinely laugh as hard the 7th time as we did the first time. And that story the 7th time is going to trigger the same 14 stories it triggered before, and we'll tell them all 14 again and just laugh our asses off all night long. So, there's just a rhythm and a family and a network amongst veterans. And it is the most wonderful family. No matter where you go, if you bump into somebody, you're immediately connected. There's just a common bond, there's common experiences, there's a common understanding. We've gone through the same kind of things in life, and those things, and not only that, but I think in many ways we're very similar. Our DNAs are very similar in life. We have the same values, we have the same beliefs, we have the same structure. And when we go through those shared experiences, we have something even more on top of that. And it's those shared experiences that make such great friends, and that's why we can talk for days when there's the right influencers, because we're able to share common stories. I think about a common story. My son, he's a Marine also, and before he went to boot camp, just to define one of the roles that are in boot camp for all the militaries, there's a role. One of the recruits holds a role called the guide. And that person is somebody who exhibits leadership skills, who's squared away, usually almost always the best marcher, because they're in a platoon, they're holding the guide on, that's why they're called guide. They're holding the guide on, which has the platoon's flag on it. And they are really the lead recruit. They're really not, because it's the drill instructors who do everything and lead everything, but they're there. And usually they get in trouble a lot more often, because when we do something wrong, or they say to the guide, you should have been doing something about this, and there's nothing they can do. So with that guy, my son says, before he leaves for boot camp, we're at the house, and he says to his mom and I, he goes, listen, you guys, I'm gonna be the guide. I'm gonna get this done. I'm gonna figure out how to do it. I'm gonna be the guide. When you come down for my graduation 3.5 months from now, you're gonna see me at the front of that platoon, as the guide. And I'm like, it's really not that important, and it's really, I'm trying to quietly discourage a little bit, because it really doesn't matter. In the FMF, which is the Fleet Marine Force, when we're out there after boot camp, which is after boot camp, I have no clue who was ever a guide or not a guide. No one cared. It was never something, nobody ever said I was the guide in boot camp. Who cares? No one cares. If they did say something like that, we'd probably bust on them. Yeah, you were the biggest ass kisser, something like that. But we would meant it, because they're not the butt kissers. They're just, they're squared away and they're great marchers. But no one ever talked about it. It was never a big deal. They usually get a meritorious promotion, so that's a cool thing at the end of boot camp. But no one ever talks about it, and it really is not the most important thing after boot camp. And so I'm kind of quietly, passively, calmly trying to, explain that to my son. And he says, I don't care. I'm going to do it. I'm going to figure this thing out. I'm going to do it. And so he's saying that for a month or so before he's leaving. And then we're at the airport, and he says, when you guys come down, you're going to see me at the front of that platoon. Yeah, okay, well, just, take care of yourself, okay? Focus. And he gets down to Paris Island. He's there for, 3.5 weeks or so by the time we get our first letter. First letter, big letters right on the first page. Excuse my French. F being the guide. I'm just going to try and survive this place. And that, my friends, is a great definition of a shared experience. Once he got there, he understood. It really was not that important, and it sure as heck wasn't the priority, because he had enough problems on his hands. So, I want to say thank you to all the veterans. And now, if you don't mind, would the veterans once again stand up once again, just so we can thank you. Thank you, all of you. Thank you, all of you. With what you did, and when you did it, you're the protector of our families, you're the protector of our country, the protector of our constitutional right to freedom and the pursuit of happiness. And that's what you helped to make sure happens. So, cheers, everybody.
Thank you to John Howard, again, we appreciate that. It was a great conversation, and there's no need to thank us, that's what we're here, that's what we're here for, we're here to help, and we just want to say again, thank you to our veterans, there's no need to thank the chamber, but we appreciate it, thank you again. I want to introduce Francisco Urena, who just walked in. Francisco is a retired Marine and former Mass Secretary of Veterans Services, so welcome, Francisco. Our next speaker, Dana DeFranco. As I mentioned, our featured speaker unfortunately could not be here. Yesterday we said, okay, what do we do? Who do you get to speak? And we know Brides Across America is getting the award today, but why don't we have a bride of a veteran? So Dana, why don't you come on down? Thank you, Dana.
Congratulations. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for, having me here today. Thanks for asking me, Michael. So I'm not a veteran, but I'm a wife of a veteran, and I'm so proud to be that. I'm also a daughter of a veteran, a niece of a veteran, and a granddaughter of a veteran. So I'm really proud of our military family. So with that being said, I didn't sign myself up at the age of 18 to be shipped off to Europe in 1943. I'll never know what it's like to fight the enemy. I won't have history books written about the courageous battles I fought, like the story of Sergeant First Class Richard Lucier of Peabody, who was my grandfather. It was during the Battle of the Bulge where he single-handedly captured 27 Nazi soldiers in the basement of a farmhouse on the bluff. He had no ammunition. He wore boots he had found in a barn that were 2 sizes too big, so he stuffed them with straw to keep them warm from falling off his feet. In the course of that battle, he was wounded, shot in the left forearm, which would later be amputated due to gangrene. For his courageous actions in battle, he was awarded the Silver Star with Valor, the Bronze Star with Valor, the Purple Heart, and the Berlin Occupational Medal. I'll never recall the sound of incoming mortars as I sit in darkness at a U.S. air base in Da Nang in southern Vietnam, or recall the exhilaration of hanging out the door of a Huey with my hands gripping a 50 cal. I'll never be able to recall the sights of a landscape so beautiful and rich, but yet so full of terror and death, only to return home to contempt on my own soil, the soil in which I fought for, as my father, Michael Perry of Amesbury, did. I'll never write love notes and letters to family on the land so foreign as Green Beret Raymond Lucier did of Tewksbury, my uncle, who during his time in Vietnam did. He'd write his younger sister, Nancy, my mom, and tell her in detail about the beautiful landscapes, the jungle, the brightly colored birds, the flowers. He'd send pictures, but he'd always make sure that he kept those letters positive and upbeat, and didn't know if it would be his last. Only now does he share those stories that he once kept so close to his chest, the stories of his friends who never made it home, the stories of how he heroically fought for this very country. I'll never be challenged to hold my breath long enough to where I pass out. Pushed well beyond any imaginable physical strength to the point where only my sheer mental strength would carry me forward. The strength to move 1 more inch, hold 1 second longer, carry 1 more pound, take 1 more step, all while wet and sandy. I'll never know the feeling to be chosen by my military leaders and be sent to the most dangerous region on the planet to carry out covert missions. I'll never comprehend the accomplishment of having that shiny trident pinned on my chest. I'm so proud. November and Veterans Day, the national anthem, it just brings me so much joy. I get obviously choked up. So I'll never know that like my husband Sal DeFranco did. But enough of the things that I'm not, and I'll never be, and let me tell you who I am and why I stand in front of you. I'm Dana DeFranco, and I'm a patriot. Just like Heidi, I'm the co-owner of Battlegrounds Coffee Company just across the street, and our mission is to support and encourage the veterans, veteran community, veteran initiatives, and anything that comes before us. Working with government officials at every level at Battlegrounds has been able to provide veterans in need through job creation, connecting veterans to resources, benefit clinics, housing, compensation, educational benefits. It's a support system. It's a place to have intelligent conversations. It's a place to disagree with people. It's a place to relax, reflect, and find comfort, all while enjoying, needlessly, I say, a great cup of coffee. The lessons that have been passed down to me by my father, my grandfather, my uncle, and strengthened through my marriage have laid a foundation for which I built my business upon. Honor, commitment, and sacrifice. Honor our veterans, those who serve, providing a safe and comfortable space where they feel supported and valued and needed. Commitment to the communities in which we touch. And sacrifice by working hard and understanding that nothing comes for free. Through all of that, it's taught me the true meaning of those words, honor, commitment, and sacrifice. And I consider myself incredibly lucky to have been raised and live among such men. For despite the fact that I've never served in the military, I feel benefit tremendously from those who have served. Beyond, dare I say, the cliches of freedom, luxuries that these men have sacrificed, I feel that I've learned a deeper lesson of service. And now it's my turn to give back. And I'm so proud to be here today while Heidi is receiving this award, because I remember we were a resource for you, and I hope that we were able to help you and connect, but we made a friendship, and I'm really proud of what you're doing in your mission. Beyond that, I'd like to also welcome you all to Battlegrounds on December 9th. It's a Tuesday. And we'll have a speaker, let me pull it up, Marty Skoglund. He's a former Army Ranger, an experienced conflict reporter who's reported on assignments from Afghanistan, Iraq, Ukraine. And in addition to embedding with the U.S. military around the world, he's been writing nonfiction books. He served as the editor-in-chief of multiple military news publications, a co-host of a show on the History Channel, and most recently, an executive marketing person at I should say, competitive coffee company. But we're still very close friends. And then he has written a book. It's called Send Me. You may have heard of it. It's a true story of a mother at war. Her husband is Joe Kent, who's now part of the Trump administration. But sadly, she lost her life fighting for us. And so Marty is going to be coming to Battlegrounds again on December 9th, and I invite you all to come. He's going to read an excerpt from his book. I'd love for you to meet him. I'd love for him to tell you her story. You can hear it firsthand, and then he'll have some books there to sign. So hopefully you can all join us. I'm sure Michael and Joe will send out some information. So thank you.
Well, let me get a photo. And you can understand why Dana is part of our board of directors. I'm learning. All right.
Thank you. I'm going to ask you both to...
Oh, you only get one more, sorry. Ready, 3, 2, 1, smile.
I'm going to ask you both to stay, but we're going to be honoring our award recipient. I'm just going to ask a couple more people to come up. They're welcome to say a few words to help present the awards to our speaker as well. As I mentioned, it's now time to present the U.S. Marine Corps Sergeant Johanny Rosario Pichardo Memorial Award. John's a former recipient. Francisco's a former recipient as well. And I would like to call Francisco Arena, who's a retired Marine and former Mass Secretary of Veterans Services committee member who helped develop the award program and coordinated the chamber, with Chamber Chairman Mike Sullivan, the rehabilitation of the home for Sergeant Pichardo's family, completely rehabbed through the efforts of the Chamber and a number of great donors at no cost. So I'd like to call Francisco up. He's all going to say a few words before we
And the award recipients, thank you for what you do. To everyone here, thank you for your continued support, and what a phenomenal time this is at the Chamber. Merrimack Valley Chamber has so many things to be proud of. Every time you look at their social media pages, media, print, radio, anything else, you hear of great things happening in Merrimack Valley. The aspect of generating energy, connecting people, developing leadership qualities, and developing the opportunities to connect clients with investors and those people who continue to sacrifice. Most importantly, here in our community, are pioneers of business, those who own businesses, those who take risks every day, opening those doors for whatever business they are, and you can find them connected to the Merrimack Valley Chamber. And so today, as they here at the Chamber celebrate Veterans Day, I am so very pleased to be part of this. For those that know, who knew her story of Johanny, Rosario, Pichardo, Florence, who joined the United States Marine Corps and was one of the last casualties of Afghanistan as the Marines were trying to exit. Sadly, she and others on that fateful day lost their lives. And so, as we remember Veterans Day and those who are among us, we veterans always remember those who did not come home, who are not as lucky as we are today. So today I am so pleased to join the Chamber in presenting this honor to a very deserving member of our community.
2024 recipient, Ralph Basiliere. Ralph was a retired Marine and the 2024 award recipient. So come on up, Ralph, and we'd like to have you say a few words and we present you our honor to Heidi.
Good morning, my name's Ralph Basiliere. I'm not going to keep you, I don't have much to say. I've got to tell you that last year when I stood at this podium to receive this award in the name of my sister, I was humbled to silence. I feel that same humility today.
Thank you, Ralph. With that being said, we're now going to call our award recipient, Heidi Janson, who's the founder and CEO of Brides Across America. Welcome.
You're all gonna get okay, get a little closer. One more. Are you all set?
I'm good.
Thank you. Yes, sir. A few words. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. What an honor. Really emotional and touched. Never would have thought to have received such an honor like this. It started in 2008, all just listening to a Navy SEAL story based in Afghanistan, and I just was like, I can go to work every day, I can just drive my car, I can have my coffee, and I don't even have to think about what sacrifices and services, our heroes are there every day. So I wanted to make a difference. I just wanted to give back and kind of just thought about what I knew best, and that was bringing love and weddings to people on a day-to-day basis. So I was like, well, why not do this and support our military and really unite our country and spread the love and just make a difference that way. So we've gifted almost 30,000 wedding gowns to date. So about 22 weddings. So hopefully I'm working on a wedding next year. So we'll see what happens. We'll be kicking off. We actually just started our events on Saturday, I believe, and we'll be hosting our military event right here in our hometown in North Andover on the 13th? The 13th, so if anybody wants to come by and see our military brides, and also first responders, so thank you so much for our heroes every day.
I just want to say something. First, I want to say thank you to the mother. It's fantastic. You have to be there to see the brides and the women that are in the parties. Michael and I have had the good fortune of going each year. And we just watch, and it's amazing with the sincerity and the honor that Heidi presents to these women who are either veterans themselves or the spouse of a veteran, and how appreciative they are, because they really had nowhere else to go. And she does it as if it's something that we should all be doing. And I just want to say thank you once again.
Just mentioned a little story the other day of someone we were talking to out in California, and there was a little snafu in trying to get them registered. And I was like, all right, well, like, what can we do to get your fiance there? Because he was like, no, we're just not gonna go. And I'm like, we'll do a virtual, we'll send her some dresses. Like, this is my mission of, just trying to make a difference. And I know some people are so proud to accept a gift, but, I really wanted our dresses to be free, and, that was it. I didn't want any attachments to it. So, of course, we have to run like a foundation, but we're still really true to our mission, so that's really important.
Thank you, congratulations. Thank you for all you do, and as Joe mentioned, when you go to the Brides Across America, it's amazing how they have it set up. It's truly amazing in there. We want to say congratulations, thank you for all you do, and I just want to give you one more round of applause.
Night program at Battlegrounds.
Yes, the next Merrimack Valley Chamber Veteran Program will be December 9th, as Dana mentioned. It'll be our next networking breakfast. You'll have the author, the veterans speaking and signing as well there, so we will be sending that flyer out shortly. Keep your eye out for that. We'd love to have you all back. I would say thank you to our veterans. I want to thank our two sponsors again, BrightBridge Credit Union and LCW CPAs. Without them, we couldn't do the program today, so thank you so much for your support. Thank you to our veterans again. Obviously, Veterans Day is coming up this Tuesday, but don't just thank our veterans on Tuesday. Thank them all year long. It means a lot. I know from the veterans I've talked to. A lot of them don't ask for anything all year long. We just want to say thank you to all they do. Thank you for being here today, and we look forward to celebrating Veterans Day this coming. Thank you.